Why are they so distant? Why do they seem uninterested, as if their attention is slipping through your fingers no matter what you do? Maybe you've felt the sting of being overlooked, wondering what it is that keeps you in the background of their life. It's maddening, isn't it? To pour out your energy, to offer all you can, only to feel like just another option to them. Maybe you tried your best to make them see your worth. The late-night messages, the endless efforts, the moments where you laid your heart bare, hoping they'd finally notice. And yet, they look through you as if you're invisible, ignoring you like you don't matter. Right now, you're feeling broken. Maybe it's not even about love anymore. Maybe it's about something deeper, something that is eating you from inside. Self-respect. How dare they ignore you? How dare they treat you like you're disposable, like you're nothing more than a fleeting moment in their life? They don't see your love. Fine, you can live with that. But how can they disrespect you like this? How can they look past everything you are and reject you without a second thought? Do they think you're replaceable? Do they think you'll always be there, waiting, begging for scraps of their attention? This isn't just pain. It's rage disguised as heartbreak. It's the question pounding in your mind. How could they not see me? How could they not see my worth? And yet, there's another question lingering beneath it all, isn't there? A quieter, sharper question. What now? That's the one that matters. Because what happens next is entirely in your hands. They think ignoring you is that easy? Hell no! They thought they could brush you aside, walk away, and you'd just fade into the background like you never mattered. But here's the thing, they're dead wrong. You're about to make ignoring you the hardest thing they've ever tried to do. Because right now, you're stepping up. You're about to turn the tables so hard that they'll be left questioning every choice they made. This video isn't about begging for their attention or proving your worth to someone who doesn't see it. No, this is about showing them what happens when they underestimate you. It's about transforming into someone so unforgettable, so magnetic, that their indifference will crumble under the weight of their own regret. You're going to shift from being an option to their only choice, not through words, but through actions that leave them reeling. So stay with me, because by the end of this, you'll have the tools to make ignoring you impossible. They'll wish they paid attention while they had the chance. And yes, this is your moment, and it starts now. So hit that like button under this video, and let's get into it. The truth is, their distance is an illusion. It's not about their feelings, it's about the way they perceive you. Right now, there's a block, something keeping you in a space where they don't see your full value. What is it? We'll get there. But for now, know this. The distance isn't permanent. It's not set in stone. It's a perception you can change. And let's be honest, you've probably tried to fix this already, haven't you? You've reached out, been available, shown them that you care. But the harder you try, the more it feels like they pull away. Why? Because the answer doesn't lie in doing more for them. It lies in shifting how they see you. Let me ask you this. When was the last time you were truly curious about someone? Not because they were loud or flashy, but because there was something about them you couldn't quite figure out. They had an energy, a depth, a magnetism that kept you wondering, what's their story? That's the kind of curiosity you need to create in their mind. People are drawn to mystery. We're wired to want what feels just out of reach. Right now, they think they've figured you out, and that's the problem. But when you become unpredictable, when you create an air of depth and intrigue, something shifts. You go from someone they can overlook to someone they can't stop thinking about. Here's where the game changes. To go from being an option to their only choice, you need to step into a space where you are both present and elusive. You must balance being visible enough to spark their interest, but distant enough to keep them wondering. This is where you become unforgettable, not by being always available, but by becoming the person they can't fully understand. Marcus Aurelius said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." Right now, they've painted a picture of you in their mind, a picture that needs to change. You're about to become the vibrant, unforgettable hue that overtakes their thoughts, the person who disrupts the way they've been seeing the world. Now you might be asking yourself, what if they're just not interested? What if I'm wasting my time? But here's the truth they won't admit. People don't lose interest because you're unworthy. They lose interest because you've made yourself too easy to figure out. The human brain craves complexity, something to work on, to solve, to chase. Right now, they don't feel that chase with you. Yet. Think of it like a beautifully wrapped gift. If someone hands it to you and says, "Here, take it," you might appreciate it, but there's no mystery. But if you see that same gift sitting on a shelf, wrapped, unclaimed, and just out of reach, you'll find yourself wondering about it. What's inside? Why is it there? That's the energy you need to create. Here's a powerful concept that changes everything. Absence creates value. When you're constantly in their orbit, they never have the chance to miss you. They don't get to feel the pull of your absence, the nagging thought that something is missing when you're not there. It's time to create that space, not out of spite, but out of strategy. Epictetus said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." You need to stop fulfilling their every want. Stop being so available that they take you for granted. Your absence should feel like a void, a silence that makes them realize how much your presence means. Now, let's get to the heart of this transformation. Becoming unforgettable isn't about manipulation or games. It's about stepping into your power. It's about creating a version of yourself that commands attention not by demanding it, but by simply existing in a way that can't be ignored. You're not going to chase them. You're not going to beg for their attention. Instead, you're going to build a life so full, so magnetic, that their attention naturally gravitates toward you. This is how you make them see you as their only choice, by becoming someone they can't afford to overlook. Here's the truth they don't want you to know. The power has always been in your hands. They're distant because they think they've figured you out. But the moment you step into your mystery, the moment you pull back and create that magnetic space, their perception shifts. Suddenly, you're not just an option. You're the one they can't stop thinking about. Affirm it with me now. I am unforgettable. Write it in the comments, declare it to yourself, and let it be your truth moving forward. If this sparked something in you, don't keep it to yourself. Like, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Your transformation has only just begun. Let's dive deeper together. Number 1. Sculpt your identity like a rare masterpiece. Have you ever walked into a museum and felt your breath catch at the sight of a masterpiece? A piece so powerful it doesn't need to beg for your attention. It stands silently, radiating brilliance, demanding respect without uttering a word. Now ask yourself, are you living like that masterpiece? Or are you blending into the noise, chasing after people who don't even see your worth? Here's the harsh truth. If you feel like an option in someone's life, it's because you haven't carved yourself into someone they fear losing. Right now, you're a block of stone, full of potential, but hidden beneath layers of insecurity, doubt, and fear. Michelangelo said it best. Every block of stone has a statue inside it, and it is the task of the sculptor to discover it. You are the sculptor, and every choice you make is a strike of the chisel. But what are you sculpting? Are you shaping yourself into a person who commands respect, or are you letting others chip away at your edges, turning you into something unremarkable? People don't chase what they don't fear losing. If you feel like you're always the one reaching, always the one giving, it's because you've forgotten that you are the rare gem, not the pebble in the pile. Picture this: a gallery filled with paintings. The most admired pieces aren't the ones that scream for attention. They're the ones with quiet power, the ones that hold your gaze with their depth and intention. That's what you need to become. Stop pleading for someone to notice you. Sculpt yourself into someone they can't take their eyes off of. The difference between being an option and a priority isn't in how much you give to others. It's in how much you invest in yourself. Think of your identity as a blank canvas. Every belief, every decision, every moment is a brushstroke. When you let others dictate how you paint, you end up with chaos, a canvas that looks like everyone else's, with no meaning or direction. But when you take control, when you choose bold, deliberate strokes, you create something undeniable. The world notices those who see their own worth first. When you know who you are, you don't have to convince anyone to value you. Your energy, your presence, your very existence demand it. Now, let's talk about emotions, the silent sculptors of your identity. Most people let their emotions run wild, chipping away at their confidence with every rejection, every indifference, every moment of doubt. But mastery begins here. As Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The world tests you, not to break you, but to see if you're unshakable. Picture a sculptor methodically chiseling away at a block of marble. They don't rush. They don't let distractions ruin their focus. Every strike is purposeful, every movement deliberate. That's how you need to approach your life. Every decision you make, every boundary you enforce, every time you refuse to settle, you're shaping the masterpiece of your identity. Stop waiting for someone to choose you. Waiting is a passive act, and passivity is the death of respect. You are the rare diamond, not the gravel beneath their feet. Diamonds don't beg for attention. They shine unapologetically, their brilliance speaking for itself. So ask yourself this: what parts of you have you dulled because you've been too busy trying to fit someone else's mold? What brilliance have you hidden because you feared it would scare people away? Here's the truth: when you dim your light for others, they don't appreciate it. They exploit it. The more you refine yourself, the less you'll need to demand attention. People will see it in the way you carry yourself, in the way you handle challenges, in the way you walk into a room like you belong there. Imagine the difference between a masterpiece and a knockoff. A masterpiece doesn't argue its value. It doesn't need to. Its power is in its authenticity. It exists without compromise, and that's what makes it priceless. If you've ever felt overlooked or undervalued, it's time to flip the script. This isn't about proving yourself to others. It's about proving to yourself that you were never meant to be just good enough. You were meant to be extraordinary, someone they can't stop thinking about. Let me be blunt. You will never be their priority until you become your own obsession. You don't build greatness by waiting for permission or for someone else to validate your worth. Greatness is built in the quiet moments of self-discipline, in the hours you spend refining yourself when no one is looking. It's built when you stop asking, "Am I enough?" and start declaring, "I am unstoppable." Your time is now. Burn the bridges to your old, hesitant self. Stop being the backup plan. The world doesn't reward the passive. It bows to the unshakable. Carve yourself into someone so unrecognizable from who you were yesterday that they have no choice but to take notice. Make them feel the weight of your absence, the brilliance of your presence, and the unbearable fear of losing you. So here is an affirmation for this step. Say it with me, folks. I am rare. I am radiant. I am undeniable. Perfect. Now write it once and for all in the comments. Let the universe find out that you are done being overlooked, done being an option, and ready to step into your power. Claim it now. Make it yours. If this message struck a chord with you, like the video and subscribe to the channel. We're here to help you transform, to become the best version of yourself, and to remind you of the power you've had all along. Your masterpiece is waiting. It's time to bring it to life. Number 2. Be the obsession they can't escape. Have you ever experienced something so unforgettable, so magnetic, that it sticks in your mind no matter how much time passes? Maybe it's a song that haunts you, a scent that takes you back to a moment you can't let go of, or a person who left a mark so deep you still feel their presence. That's the kind of energy you need to bring into their life. You don't want to be a fleeting thought or a moment they can easily move past. You want to be the obsession they can't escape, the presence that lingers long after you've gone. Stop being forgettable. Stop blending into the noise of their busy world. You weren't born to be overlooked, to fade into the background like just another face in the crowd. You were born to stand out, to make such an impact that they feel the void when you're not there. Here's the truth most people won't tell you. People don't hold on to what's ordinary. They cling to what challenges them, inspires them, and makes them feel something real. And right now, if they're treating you like an option, it's because you've made yourself too predictable, too available, too easy to forget. Think about the moments that stay with you. What made them unforgettable? It wasn't something generic. It was the depth, the intensity, the way it struck a chord no one else could reach. That's what you need to embody. If you want to be irreplaceable, you need to stop being safe and start being magnetic. Imagine this. You walk into a room filled with noise, distractions, and chaos. Everyone is talking, laughing, scrolling on their phones. And then, amidst it all, one person walks in and doesn't have to say a word. They own the space with their energy alone. Heads turn, eyes follow. You can't help but notice them. That's the kind of presence you need to cultivate. To do this, you have to stop giving them the whole of you all at once. Mystery creates fascination. People are drawn to what they can't fully understand, what keeps them guessing. If you're laying all your cards on the table, constantly explaining yourself, constantly chasing their attention, you're robbing them of the chance to feel the pull of curiosity. Leave them something to wonder about. Show up with depth, not noise. Be like a flame that doesn't beg the moth to come closer, but burns so brightly that it's impossible to resist. It's not about grand gestures or trying to prove your worth with effort. It's about crafting moments so meaningful that they don't even realize they're hooked until you're not there. Surprise them. Challenge them. Show them a depth that no one else can offer. Let me put it bluntly. People don't obsess over what's easy to figure out. They obsess over what challenges them, intrigues them, and feels just out of reach. Stop being predictable. Stop being the person they assume will always be there. Become the energy they can't pin down, the presence they can't get out of their mind. The philosopher Marcus Aurelius said, Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. The same applies here. Stop wasting time trying to prove your worth through effort. Focus on becoming the person whose mere presence shifts the energy in the room. Think about this. Why do certain songs or scents stay with you for years? Because they evoke something that's irreplaceable. They trigger feelings no other song or scent can replicate. That's what you need to become. The experience they crave, because no one else comes close. When you're with them, be fully there. Show them the kind of presence that makes everything else feel distant and dull. But don't stop there. Balance your closeness with distance. Pull back when they expect you to stay. Leave parts of yourself unexplored so they have reasons to keep coming back, to keep trying to unravel the mystery of you. You don't need to be perfect to be unforgettable. In fact, perfection is overrated. It's your authenticity, your raw, unfiltered self, that will leave the deepest mark. People won't remember every word you say or every little thing you do, but they will remember how you made them feel. Let me ask you something. Are you ready to stop being a fleeting moment in someone's life and start being their obsession? Are you ready to become the one they measure everyone else against? Because that's what happens when you step into your power. You don't need their attention to validate you. You need to validate yourself by living a life so full, so magnetic, so undeniably radiant that they have no choice but to feel your absence when you're not there. You want to know the secret? Stop giving so much of yourself to people who haven't earned it. Stop being the one who overextends, overexplains, and overreaches. Pull back, create space. Let them come to you. Here's your moment of truth. Are you going to keep playing small, letting people overlook you? Or are you going to rewrite the rules? Stop waiting for them to notice you and make them feel you. Become the presence that leaves a mark, the absence that creates a void they can't ignore. So here is an affirmation for this step. Say it with me, folks. I am unforgettable. I am irreplaceable. I am magnetic. Perfect. Now, write it in the comments once and for all. Let the universe hear you. You're done being ordinary, done being overlooked, done fading into the background. Claim your power and make them remember. Number 3, the power move they'll never see coming. Picture yourself in the middle of a bustling marketplace. Voices are shouting, hands are waving, and chaos fills the air. It's impossible to focus, impossible to hear. And then everything stops. The silence isn't just noticeable, it's electric. It grabs you, commands you, and forces you to pay attention. Now imagine being that silence in someone's life, the stillness they can't ignore, the absence that makes them realize just how much they've been taking you for granted. Here's the truth. You don't need to shout to be heard. You don't need to chase to be seen. The most magnetic person in the room isn't the one making the most noise. It's the one whose quiet confidence makes everyone else stop and lean in. Silence isn't weakness. It's strength. When used with intention, silence is a force so undeniable it leaves them questioning how they ever let you slip away. Lao Tzu said it best. Silence is a source of great strength. When you stop explaining, stop begging, and stop overgiving, you create a void they can't ignore. Silence forces reflection. It makes them sit with the weight of your absence. It isn't about playing games or shutting them out. It's about proving that your value doesn't rely on their validation. Think about it. How often do people truly appreciate what they have until it's gone? By stepping back, by creating space, you let them confront what life feels like without you, without your energy, your attention, your presence. And in that absence, your worth becomes impossible to deny. Imagine being at a symphony. The music swells to an incredible crescendo, and then, out of nowhere, it stops. That silence doesn't feel empty. It feels alive, charged with anticipation. It holds you in its grip, leaving you desperate for what comes next. That's the kind of silence you need to cultivate. Not passive, not detached, but purposeful. When you stop filling every moment with words, when you stop over-explaining or justifying your worth, you create something rare, mystery. And mystery is magnetic. People are drawn to what they don't fully understand, to what keeps them curious. If you're constantly giving, constantly chasing, they'll never feel the pull of wondering about you. Step back. Let them realize how much they miss your energy when it's gone. Silence is like a mirror. It doesn't just reflect their behavior. It forces them to see the cracks they've been ignoring. It makes them ask the hard questions. What have I been taking for granted? What have I lost? That's the power of silence. Be like the lighthouse in a storm. The ships may drift away, distracted by the waves, thinking they can navigate without you. But when the storm hits, they'll look up and see your light, steady and unshaken, guiding them back. The lighthouse doesn't move, it doesn't chase, it simply shines. That's the kind of presence you need to embody. Let me be clear, silence isn't shutting down. It isn't about being cold or manipulative. It's about stepping back with purpose. It's about creating space for them to miss you, to feel the weight of your absence, to realize what they've taken for granted. Think of silence as a blank canvas. It isn't the absence of a story. It's the space where their imagination fills in the gaps. When you stop talking endlessly, stop chasing their approval, you give them room to think, to reflect, to wonder. And in that silence, they'll finally hear everything you've been trying to say. So here's the question. Are you ready to stop chasing? Are you ready to let your silence become the loudest statement you've ever made? Say this affirmation with me, folks. My silence is power. My silence is magnetic. My silence is unshakable. Perfect. Now, drop it in the comments. Let the universe know you're done being overlooked, done overgiving, and done being taken for granted. If this message hit you where it matters, like the video and subscribe to the channel. You are the lighthouse, the stillness, the force they'll never forget. Let them feel your absence and realize they can't live without your presence. Number 4, build a life so magnetic they can't stay away. Imagine trudging through a barren desert under the searing sun. Dust swirls around your feet, the air feels heavy, and emptiness stretches as far as the eye can see. Then, suddenly, in the distance, you spot it. A lush oasis brimming with vibrant greenery and glistening water, its cool breeze a promise of relief. You don't hesitate. You're drawn to it instinctively, unable to resist. Now, ask yourself, is your life that oasis, rich, alive, irresistible? Or is it the desert, waiting for someone else to bring meaning to it? Here's the truth. You can't attract what you want by waiting passively. You can't expect to be a priority while your life remains stagnant. The secret lies in building a life so full, so magnetic, that they can't help but be drawn to you. Not because you need them, but because your energy makes being near you irresistible. As Seneca said, luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. Your life isn't about waiting for luck to find you. It's about preparing so thoroughly, living so intentionally, that opportunities and people naturally gravitate toward you. You don't need someone to complete you. You need to become so complete within yourself that others feel honored just to be part of your world. Picture your life as a bustling marketplace. If it's empty, dull and lifeless, no one will stop to notice. But if it's vibrant and brimming with energy, curiosity and purpose, people will flock to it. That's the kind of life you need to create. A life so alive with joy and fulfillment that it draws others in effortlessly. This isn't about keeping yourself busy with meaningless tasks to look productive. It's about pouring your energy into what truly matters to you, what excites you, what makes you feel alive. When you radiate happiness from within, others can't help but be captivated by your light. Now take a moment to reflect. How much of your energy have you wasted chasing someone else's attention? How much time have you spent trying to prove you're enough for someone who barely notices? Imagine redirecting all that energy into yourself. What dream could you finally pursue? What passion could you reignite? When you invest in your growth, you stop needing validation from others. Your energy shifts, and instead of chasing, you attract. The right people will notice, not because you begged for their attention, but because your presence is undeniable. Think of the sun. It doesn't beg the planets to orbit it. It simply shines. Its gravitational pull is so powerful that everything around it is drawn in naturally. That's what happens when you focus on becoming the best version of yourself. So, are you building a garden of abundance, or are you sitting in an empty field waiting for someone else to plant seeds? The person you're trying to attract isn't coming to save you. They're drawn to what inspires them, someone who doesn't need them but offers a world they want to be part of. Here's your challenge. Stop waiting. Stop chasing. Take the energy you've wasted on others and pour it into yourself. Pick up that hobby, reconnect with uplifting friends, or chase the dream you've been avoiding. Build the life you've always wanted. When you do, something incredible happens. You don't just grow, you glow. People feel it, see it, and are drawn to it in ways you can't predict. Your life becomes a beacon, an irresistible force pulling them closer. So here's your affirmation for this step. Say it with me, folks. My life is full. My life is magnetic. I am unstoppable. Perfect. Now, drop it in the comments. Declare it to the universe. Let the world know you're stepping into your power and building something extraordinary. Number 5. Let your absence demand their attention. Have you ever experienced the jarring emptiness when something that was always there suddenly disappears? It could be the background hum of a fan, the steady ticking of a clock, or the presence of someone you've come to rely on. At first, you might not even realize it's gone, but then the silence hits you like a wave. That's when it dawns on you. The absence isn't just noticeable, it's deafening. Now imagine being that presence in someone's life, the one they didn't truly appreciate until you stepped away. It's not about disappearing to punish them or playing games. It's about creating a space so powerful that they're forced to confront just how much you mean to them. When you're constantly there, always available, always giving, your presence starts to blend into the background. People don't notice what they assume will always be there. But when you pull back, even just a little, your absence becomes louder than any words you could ever say. It forces them to feel the void where you used to be. Lao Tzu once said, "When nothing is done, nothing is left undone." Absence isn't about doing nothing, it's about doing the one thing that matters most, allowing them to miss you. Constant availability diminishes your value. When you step back, you shift the dynamic. You give them the space to reflect, to realize, and to long for what they've taken for granted. Think about this. A light in a dark room is dazzling, commanding attention. But take that same light into the middle of the day, and it's almost invisible. Your presence works the same way. If you're always there, always offering yourself, you risk blending into the noise of their life. But when you step back, when you let them experience the silence, your value becomes undeniable. Rumi beautifully put it, "Don't make yourself so available that you are invisible." When you're always in their world, you lose the air of mystery, the pull of curiosity, the weight of your impact. But when you step away, They're forced to confront what's missing, to see the gap you've left behind. Think about your favorite song, play it on repeat, and eventually it loses its magic. But let it fade into the background for a while, and when it plays again, it feels fresh, alive, meaningful. That's the power of absence. Your presence should never feel like background noise. It should feel like the song they can't stop replaying in their head after it's gone. To let your absence speak louder than your presence, you need confidence in your own worth. This isn't about manipulation, it's about respect. Respect for yourself and for what you bring into their life. Absence is a reminder that your time, energy, and love are privileges, not entitlements. So here is an affirmation for this step. Say it with me, folks. My absence speaks volumes. My value is undeniable. Perfect. Now, write it in the comments. Let the universe know you're stepping back with purpose, ready to let your silence do the talking. If this resonated with you, like the video and subscribe to the channel. Your power doesn't lie in how much you give. It lies in knowing when to step back. Let your absence be the loudest statement you've ever made. Number 6. Make them obsess over every moment with you. Think about this. Have you ever experienced a moment so profound, so unforgettable, that it keeps replaying in your mind no matter how much time passes? It wasn't because of grand gestures or extravagant displays. It was something small, a perfectly timed word, an unexpected touch of thoughtfulness, or a moment of connection that felt like it could never be replicated. These moments are the ones that linger, the ones that make someone unforgettable. Now imagine being that person in someone's life. Imagine leaving such an impression that, no matter how chaotic their world becomes, they can't help but come back to the moments you shared. That's the secret to becoming unforgettable. It's not about trying harder or giving more. It's about crafting moments so meaningful they echo in their mind long after you're gone. Rumi once said, "Don't be satisfied with stories, how things have gone with others. Unfold your own myth." This is your opportunity to become extraordinary, to rise above the noise and create something lasting. Unforgettable moments aren't about extravagance. They're about intention. They're about showing up authentically and deeply in a way that touches something no one else can. Picture this. You're walking along a beach. The waves are crashing at your feet and the shoreline is scattered with countless shells. But one catches your eye. Its color, its texture, its uniqueness. It's unlike anything else. Even after you leave the beach, you can't stop thinking about that shell. That's the energy you need to embody. You want your presence, your words, your actions to feel like that shell, something so rare and special that it stands out no matter how much time passes or what else comes along. Becoming unforgettable doesn't require being loud or flashy. It requires depth. When you speak, choose your words carefully. Speak in a way that uplifts, inspires, or resonates. When you act, let your gestures show a thoughtfulness that no one else offers. A simple act, done with care, will linger far longer than any material gift. The Stoics understood this deeply. Seneca once said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." In relationships, it's not about how much you give, but about the meaning behind what you give. People don't hold on to expensive dinners or material things. They hold on to the feeling you gave them, the way you made them feel seen, valued, or understood. Take a moment to reflect on your own life. What memories have stayed with you the longest? Was it a gift someone gave you, or was it the way they looked at you when you felt invisible? Was it an expensive night out, or was it the moment they made you laugh so hard you forgot your worries? Those lasting memories aren't about what they did. They're about how they made you feel. You have the power to create that same resonance, but it requires presence. It requires thought. Stop letting your interactions happen by chance. Be deliberate. Think about how you can leave them feeling seen, inspired, or cherished. It doesn't take much. It might be as simple as remembering something small they said and bringing it up at just the right time. It could be writing them a note or sending a message that lifts their spirits when they least expect it. It could even be creating a moment of silence, one so intimate it speaks louder than words. The key is depth. People don't forget depth. They don't forget someone who touched their soul when the rest of the world only skimmed the surface. Craft moments that create an emotional impact, and you'll transition from being an option to being a priority in their life. You'll become the standard by which they measure everyone else. Here's the truth. People will forget what you said. They'll forget what you did. But they will never forget how you made them feel. When you create moments that resonate deeply, you become irreplaceable. You become the person they seek out when the world feels overwhelming. So how do you start? By being intentional, by caring in a way no one else does, by showing up in ways that others overlook. Don't aim for quantity, aim for meaning. Be the person they can't stop thinking about because no one else has ever made them feel the way you do. So here's an affirmation for this step. Say it with me, folks. I create unforgettable moments. I am their echo. Perfect. Now, write it in the comments. Let the universe know you're done being overlooked, done being ordinary. You're ready to make an impact they'll never forget. Number 7. Be the light they can't resist. Picture this. You're walking through a quiet forest at twilight. The world around you grows dim, shadows stretching across the ground. Suddenly, you spot it. A firefly glowing softly in the distance. Its light is gentle yet impossible to ignore. You're drawn to it, captivated, compelled to follow as it dances away, just out of reach. Now imagine yourself as that firefly in someone's life, the light they can't stop chasing. The secret to becoming their priority isn't in chasing them. It's in shining so brightly they can't help but come to you. Think about it. Chasing signals lack. It says, I need you to feel complete, but radiating your unique light. That says, I'm already whole, and if you want to be part of this, it's on you to catch up. To embrace this, you need to stop dimming yourself to fit into their world. Instead, focus on building your own. What makes you extraordinary? What passions set your soul on fire? When you start leaning into what makes you unique, you create a magnetic energy that draws people toward you. Rumi said it perfectly. You were born with wings. Why prefer to crawl through life? Your potential, your dreams, your essence, these are your wings. They're what make you unforgettable. The more you lean into your authenticity, the more irresistible you become. But let's be clear. This isn't about being loud or boastful. It's not about forcing people to notice you. It's about cultivating an inner glow that comes from self-respect, confidence, and fulfillment. When you respect yourself, when you know your worth, you stop seeking validation from anyone else. Your light speaks for itself. Think of the sun. It doesn't chase the planets. It simply exists, radiating its warmth and light. And everything around it naturally orbits in response. That's the energy you need to embody. Stop running after others. Stand firm, let your light shine, and watch them gravitate toward you. Start by focusing on what lights you up, what makes you feel alive, what gives you joy. Pour your energy into those things, and you'll find that your happiness becomes contagious. When you're fulfilled, your energy becomes magnetic, drawing people to you without effort. And remember this, mystery is part of the allure. The firefly doesn't stay in one place forever. It moves, it intrigues, it keeps you guessing. In the same way, balance your openness with independence. Let them wonder. Let them work to uncover the depth of who you are. The chase isn't about games. It's about creating intrigue, about making your light something worth pursuing. You don't need to beg for attention. You don't need to prove yourself. You just need to shine so brightly that losing you feels unthinkable. So here is an affirmation for this step. Say it with me, folks. I am the light. My energy is magnetic. I am irresistible. Perfect. Now, write it in the comments. Let the universe know you're stepping into your power, done with chasing, and ready to shine unapologetically. Number 8. Choose yourself first, every single day. Here's a hard truth. No one else can truly choose you until you choose yourself. And this isn't a decision you make once and forget. It's a daily act of commitment. Every morning, every moment, you have to decide to honor your worth, to value your time, your energy, and your presence. How often have you allowed someone else's approval to dictate your self-worth? How many times have you bent your boundaries, abandoned your priorities, or reshaped who you are to fit into someone else's mold? Every time you do that, you send a silent message. My worth is negotiable. But here's the reality. If you don't choose your worth, no one else will. When you undervalue yourself, others follow your lead. When you choose yourself every day, you teach the world how to treat you. Marcus Aurelius said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." So, start each day by filling your mind with thoughts that affirm your value, not just for others, but for yourself. Choosing yourself means setting boundaries, protecting your peace, and prioritizing your own growth. It means recognizing when to say no to what drains you and when to walk away from situations where you aren't valued. Choosing yourself isn't selfish, it's survival. It's the only way to create a life filled with purpose and meaning. And when you do that, something incredible happens. You start attracting relationships that reflect your worth, not diminish it. Think of your life as a garden. If you spend all your time watering someone else's plants while neglecting your own, your garden will wither. The flowers will fade, the soil will dry, and soon there will be nothing left to give. But when you focus on nurturing your own space, feeding your passions, growing your confidence, and protecting your peace, it flourishes. And in that abundance, others will want to be part of your world, not because you need them, but because your garden is so beautiful they can't stay away. Here's a challenge for you. Every morning, ask yourself one simple question. What can I do today to honor my worth? Maybe it's taking one small step toward a personal goal you've been putting off. Maybe it's spending time with people who uplift you, or cutting ties with those who drag you down. Maybe it's as simple as letting yourself rest when you need it, without guilt or apology. The more you choose yourself, the more your energy shifts. You stop chasing. You stop begging. You stop bending to fit into spaces that were never meant for you. And as you do, the right people, the ones who truly see your value, will be drawn to the strength, confidence, and light you exude. So here's an affirmation for this step. Say it with me, folks. I choose my worth every single day. I am enough. Perfect. Now, write it in the comments. Let the universe hear you declare it. Let the world see that you are done compromising and ready to own your power. If this message resonated with you, like the video and subscribe to the channel. Every day, you have the choice to honor yourself and build a life that reflects your highest potential. Together, let's keep growing, one step at a time.